Welcome, everyone. I want to welcome you here to the Manifestation Podcast. I'm Peggy McColl, and today we have a special guest with us. And we're going to be talking about a couple very important subjects, and the subjects that we'll be talking about are very important to my guest as well. So today we're very blessed to have Mouna Saquaque with us. She is totally into happiness and peace of mind and creating that not only for herself, but for others as well. Now, she shares her work through her essays, paintings, poems, and she just released her book called Who Am I? Where Am I? Who am I? Where am I? She has two beautiful children, a cat, a horse, and of course, she loves humans. So that's a good thing. Mouna, I'm so happy to have you on the Manifestation Podcast. Thank you for being willing to be here to share your insights.
What an honor to be with you, Peggy. You are my favorite.
Sweet.
Thank you so much.
Well, I love what we're going to talk about today because I think these are two really, really essential parts of one's life and something that a lot of people would love to be experiencing and very few do. So we're going to talk about peace of mind and happiness. I think they're two great subjects for today. And they're definitely something that I've grown to create in my own life, but I didn't have many, many years ago. So what do you believe is the meaning of peace of mind? How would you describe it?
Well, the mind, you are the best teacher of mind science. So the mind is this receptor transmitter tool that we work with. We have a subconscious program mind and we have the aware mind. And peace, other words for peace would be tranquility, calmness, order, harmony, perfect deployment. So peace of mind is a mind that works from these places.
It's like a mindset, I would suppose, right? Like, how do you know if you have it?
Exactly. You know that you have it because you recognize it when you come back to it, when you meet it, when you merge back to it. And it's like something that you left from your early age, growing up and going into adulthood and experiencing events, situations, people. And when you meet with it again, you recognize it because it's your true nature.
Love it. So you feel it, right? You just feel a sense of peace, right?
Yes, you feel it.
I love
You acknowledge it. When you meet it, you acknowledge it.
as you're sharing that with us, I'm thinking back to my childhood, and my childhood was somewhat chaotic, and it didn't feel like peace of any sort. And maybe it was there at some point, I don't know when, but I certainly didn't experience it in my childhood. And it wasn't until later when I started my own personal study into these materials that really gave me that understanding of peace of mind is something that we can all have. It's something that's possible for everyone if we just get out of our own way, right? If we just make some choices. Because I think what happens with many people is they have so much conflict going on in their mind, all, self-created, and it's based on what they've been taking in from their awareness as well. So if someone doesn't have a good sense of peace, like they don't feel at peace, they don't feel relaxed, they don't feel calm, what would you suggest that they do? Like, how do you create it? How do you experience that if you've never had it before and you have no idea how to accomplish it?
Well, first of all, you get aware of your existence and you get aware of existence itself. And you see that if you exist, you have to exist because you do not need to know why you exist, but you have to know that in a universe where randomness doesn't apply, you have your place. So you exist because you have to exist. And from there is a form of acceptance of not knowing everything and not knowing why I'm here, but just acknowledging that I am here because I had to be here. From there, you see yourself as something, as a very important component of the universe and of creation. And then you can practice some meditation. So there are two types of meditations: meditating on calming the mind,
Right.
trying to reach a no thoughts place, or meditating on meditation itself. so obviously self-awareness and
I like that.
acknowledging your existence and that you are here, that you are important, and that you do not need to know why you are here and why you are not important. A bee doesn't know how important it is, and it is so important for the whole. So sometimes you cannot really understand why you are here, but you have to accept it first. And from there, in a perfectly working universe, you have a place here. And when you acknowledge this, well, I am here because I have to be here. What can I do to calm myself? I
Right.
can just try to stop the current of my thoughts and try to calm down by meditating. And we can go back to practices later if you want.
Well, absolutely. I would definitely like to talk about that because the way that I'm approaching this is thinking about our listeners of the podcast and thinking that for someone who doesn't meditate, as an example, never been into the practice of meditating, or they may not have even grasped the concept of why they're here or that they're here for some important reason. Because as you're saying that, I was thinking back to before I actually got into the study of personal development, and I thought I was here to live a miserable life. That's what I thought my life was meant for, only because that's what
Judgment.
observed, right? I had observed my parents, had observed my grandparents, and they were living a miserable life. And peace of mind, harmony, that wasn't anywhere in my
Order.
no, order. I mean, it was chaos. It was frustration. There was lots of anger, and I'm sure if you had this,
Who thought
who
who thought it was frustration and chaos? Who thought of this?
well, that's what I experienced in my young life, was an environment
Yeah.
that was like that, because that's what my parents had experienced and that's what their parents had experienced. And
Yeah.
until you break the patterns, right? Like, I think what you're saying is we all have a choice, right? We have a choice whether we're going to have peace of mind. Now I have it. It took a while
Yes.
to get there, but it was work. I did the work
Yes.
to get there because I was focused on that. Because now that I'm I'm not at this new place in my life where I have the peace of mind, where I feel happy, I feel a grateful life, live a blessed life. Now I understand it because I can look back and take a look at it. But for those that are listening now who don't have peace of mind right now, but yet, I know how valuable it is to have that, where would you suggest that they even start? What would be a great practice to get into that could really help someone to experience more peace in their life right now?
So when you say they want to experience, I hear there is an intention first.
Right. Yeah. True.
Yeah, there has to be an intention of why am I doing things that I don't want to do? Why do I have this destructive self-talk? Why do I live into my head almost 90% of the time, thinking of things that don't exist? Sometimes the mind takes us to see things that don't exist. And I've worked with people who were thinking that people were looking at them or judging them just because their mind was chatting so much and so much destructive talk that they projected it into other people. So if you want peace of mind, that's a good thing, because you have the intention of going there, of just calming your mind. And peace of mind is not something like woohoo or spiritual or anything. It's just respecting the phases of the mind. And when you have a problem or a question and you give it to your mind 24 hours for a week, I've seen people for years thinking about the same thing, worrying about the same thing. It cannot function that way. You have to give it a gap where it calms down, either by maybe an easier way is to do something that you like. I don't know if you like to dance or to do what at home, like just express your whatever emotion you're feeling. If you feel anger, just put some rap and dance on it. It's going to go. Or you can paint, or you can do whatever you want to just allow these emotions to go on a canvas, whether it's your body or anything else. I don't know all the activities that there is on earth, but there are a lot of activities. Maybe it's cooking, maybe it's cleaning the house. I know someone who feels very good when cleaning their house. So whatever, this first step to just take off the pressure and to have a break from your thoughts, continuously thinking about the same thing. And when you go back to this subject, you have the energy and a little bit of clarity to be able to see it from another angle. And if you practice this, you can start once a week, and then once every 3 days, and then every day, and then you feel like it's installing in your life, and it's becoming steadier and steadier and steadier, and then you can live from there. But there is a direct, this is just practice, but there is direct path.
Okay, I like that. Well, what I'm thinking is that what I'm hearing is that peace of mind is a choice, and it's a choice that we all have. We can all make, and we can choose to do things that we love, because when we're doing things that we love, we're in a better vibration. We're energetically feeling better, and that will create peace. And something that I've noticed that you do, and you do this really well, I'm not even sure if you know that you're doing it, but you do take deep breaths. Like and I think that's a great way of calming oneself as well, is to breathe. Like a lot of people they're shallow breathing, especially if people are uptight or worried or nervous or anxious or, doubtful or whatever. They tend not to breathe deeply. And I find that getting into better breathing techniques, and this could be something that you choose to do on a regular basis, whether it's, a way of calming yourself in the morning to ground yourself. Maybe it's something that, and a lot of meditations do that as well, right? They teach the deep breathing and, being aware of your breath as it comes in, as it's released. And, again, and that can help someone with stopping the chatter, or I've heard an expression called monkey brain. It's like where there's something going on in their mind, they're going all over the place.
Yeah.
So those would be great suggestions for peace of mind. So thank you for that. Mouna, that's very helpful. Well, let's talk about the other subject that we wanted to cover off today, because we're doing this in a relatively short period of time, but still extremely valuable. And that is happiness. And I just love this idea and love this topic. And happiness is an emotional muscle, just like feeling calm and peace of mind. And it's something that people can choose. But how would you define happiness? What would be your definition of happiness?
You. When I see you, I see happiness.
Well, I'm a happy girl. So it's an expression, right? It's an expression of what's inside.
Exactly. It's an expression. It's when you have reached peace of mind. Well, there is peace of mind, and then there is a higher place, which is just peace, silence. But when you reach peace of mind, it means you've acknowledged your true nature, you're vibrating at your right rate. And from there, anything you express, whenever you have an impulse, it's going to be happiness, because you're at ease, you're not feeling lack, you're not feeling less than what you are. You do not want things to be different. I don't mean you don't want to expand, but I mean you're okay with the actual place where you are here and now. So any impulse, anything that you're going to do is going to be happiness, and you will not be going out or doing things to feel happy. You will bring your happiness everywhere you go. You will be happiness. That's what I said. You are happiness. When I see you, I see happiness,
So happy. I just feel happy all the time. But I didn't. I mean, that was, again, I mentioned it when we started this segment. It's a choice. It really is a choice whether you're going to feel happy. I've heard people say these words: it made me happy, or he made me happy, or they made me happy. But it's nothing outside of yourself that makes you happy. And I think if people understand that the happiness is an inside job, that they can recognize that they've got the power to control that they can turn up the volume of happiness, but they can also allow it to go down to a place called sad. Another thing is, happiness is the opposite end of sadness. And I believe that when you're not feeling happy, then you're feeling somewhere on that scale of human emotion. but sadness is a part of a human experience, and we all go through it, and it's okay. Like I remember after my mom had passed away, I lost my brother, then my father, then my mom, I lost my brother-in-law. I mean, my niece's best friend died. I knew her. I mean, so many deaths were all happening. And I remember feeling the sadness. And I was chatting with a Stanford graduate PhD psychologist, and he said, it's natural. It's a
Yeah.
natural feeling. And I think we need to honor it. So do you believe that people are born happy, or is it something that you attain?
Well, you were talking about sadness, and I was thinking happiness is my true nature, and all other emotions are visitors, and they have to visit you, and it's okay if they visit you. Yes, happiness is our true nature.
It really is.
Yes,
What happens is it gets
yes,
squashed. You know, my
yeah,
husband and I were watching a documentary recently about a young man who was born with Down syndrome. And he was such a happy young man. And he ended up, you know, helping out some professional sports teams, and people really loved him. And
beautiful.
yeah, they loved being around him. His name was
Mm.
Joey. And you know, I was thinking as we're watching this show, my husband was getting choked up. It was just so beautiful. And he was getting choked up because of the love that they gave to this man, Joey.
Yeah,
And, you know, I think about why was it that Joey experienced so much love from so many people and from,
because he is love.
yeah,
He
because,
is love incarnated. Yes.
right, he is love. And, but he was just naturally happy. And I was thinking to myself that when we see children sometimes who are not happy, and it could be the environment, very, very likely is the environment that they're raised in, like mine. I'm sure I did not look like a happy little girl, very, very sad, and yet I learned happiness. So what would you suggest are practices that people can put into place right now to turn up their level of happiness and to experience more happiness in their life?
So we see people, like you mentioned, we see people with uh, illnesses that are very happy, or in poverty that are very happy. So they say money can't buy happiness because happiness is free. So the easiest practice, I would say, is to imagine a situation that happened actually really to you, where you were really, really, really happy. Like, I don't know, receiving a gift or a present from someone, or any situation that made you really happy. Like you were, oh my God, I can't believe it. And you remember it, and you remember it, you try to really remember it, and you will see that you can create this feeling again. And if you can create it again, it means that you have attached happiness to objects, which means feelings, thoughts, emotions, situations, products, an iPhone, sorry, a phone, anything that you can receive. But if you could duplicate this emotion, it means that you can do it on demand.
True.
And that's, I think, the easiest practice to do, and you get confident at it. Whenever you want to feel happy, you do it again, and you experience it by yourself, and you say, well, these people are saying the truth. I can create happiness from nothingness, from myself. It is inside of me, and I can do it whenever I want.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's such a great idea. You know, you mentioned about money doesn't buy happiness. Well, you know, maybe not, but it's nice to have. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, it's another subject. Yes, I
And
love
it's like,
money,
you know, like
but
that.
I love money. I love happiness. I love peace of mind. I love everything that's in life and that makes me a human being that lives with dignity, with appreciation. So yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was thinking of that expression. I've been rich and I've been poor, and rich is better. So
Yeah, it is.
you're right. That's
Definitely.
another
A
conversation.
Batman and Justice League, Batman, so Flash comes, it's a superhero, and he comes to Batman and he says, and you, what's your superpower? And Batman says, I am rich. And it's true. It's a superpower when used in a
In a positive way.
intelligent way. Yeah, in a positive
Right.
way. It is a superpower.
And there are people that are very wealthy and they're miserable. I mean, there's that side of it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Happiness is a thing. Being wealthy is very good, and it's another thing. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's different bodies.
I agree. I remember years and years ago, I went on a trip and I went to Mexico, and it was one of my first trips. And I was really young at the time. And what struck me when I had arrived there is we're heading from the airport to the hotel, and we passed by an area that was impoverished, and there were, people living in what looked like shacks. I mean, they didn't have glass in the windows, didn't have doors or whatever. And I remember looking at the children that were playing, and they were all having so much fun. And what struck me and what really stood out was the happiness that they were all experiencing. And it had a profound impact on me, because I realized that, I was raised in a very poor environment. I mean, we didn't have money, and I had an association in my mind that was obviously made up, that being poor and being unhappy, they go together, but they don't go
Yes,
together.
they don't.
That's really what we've been talking about throughout this whole thing. It really is a matter of choice. If someone wants to be happy, they can choose happy. If somebody wants to experience peace of mind, you can choose peace of mind. And if you haven't been in the habit of experiencing it previously in your life, you've got to build that habit. It's like emotional muscles, right? They've got to be worked on, and you don't work on them once. I don't go to the gym and go, yeah, I lifted 20 pounds. No, man, I lift so much.
No, you don't.
You got to go back the next day and the next day and the next day. And depending on what the outcome is based on your physical body at a gym, you got to work on different areas depending. Are you looking for a flat stomach?
Yes.
Are you looking for a
Yes.
back? Are you looking for toned muscles? And what part of your body? So you work on those areas. So I want to wrap this up with, with helping people understand that what Mouna's sharing with us here today is definitely some guidance to give you a really good understanding of how you can choose peace of mind and how you can choose happiness as well. Is there anything, final comments that you want to make, Mouna, to wrap up our podcast today?
And it's very good for your immune system.
You're so right. Now, how can people get your book? Where would they go to get Who Am I? Where Am I? Would it be on Amazon? What do you suggest?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. All right, great, great. Now, would you suggest that they read Who Am I and Where Am I, and they'll find out more about your techniques and what your level of understanding too?
No. The Who Am I, Where Am I is a philosophy book. It talks about the different layers, material, the visible and invisible worlds. But I share more of love and beauty in my poems, and it's not out yet. But I'm sure they're gonna tap into love and beauty when reading my poems. It's a different vibration.
I think that's another way. You talked about meditation, you talked about your poetry. Writing poetry, I suspect, is a very calming thing to do, and that probably puts
Yes,
peace of mind, right?
yes, and especially when you, I mean, if you believe in the invisible and in a creator, you want him, I don't know, you want the creator, every time he sees you, he wants him to see you happy, you want him to see you happy of your existence, of being, no matter what, you just want to keep on being happy, shining, being happy all the time. So it's a form of appreciation to be happy.
I love that. Are you happy all the time?
I would say I am either happy or at peace.
Oh, beautiful. That is beautiful, because you could be sad, you'll be at peace. So that is
yes.
I love that. Well, this has been extremely valuable, and I'm so grateful, Mouna, that you were willing to come onto the podcast and share your ideas and your strategies. Extremely helpful. I'm certain that many people will really benefit from your advice as well. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Peggy. Thank you. Such an honor to be with you. I love you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, listeners. Well, that's a wrap for today's podcast. We're grateful to have you here. If you like it, give us a 5-star review and share it with your friends.